Welcome to Hallowed Groundling and the monthly segment on the original Twilight Zone. I'm so excited for today's episode. I have a very special guest on with me today, but first I'd like to let you know what's coming up. I also have a horror host show on YouTube called Hallowed Haunts, where my alter ego Elsa Rathbone and my darling husband, the slightly abominable Dr. Vincent Rathbone, host films of the macabre with our own wacky wraparound stories. Our holiday episode is now available on YouTube. We drop a new episode every month. Please follow us on YouTube and on all of our socials under Hallowed Haunts. I will put all of the links in our show notes. This episode is dropping on New Year's Eve, so I want to wish all of you a very happy new year. I have a lot of fun plans for Hallowed Groundling in 2026. Not only will I be doing full-length reviews of new and classic films, continuing the Twilight Zone segment, and interviewing fellow fans, creators, actors, and artists, I will also be launching a segment called Origin Stories. Told through dramatized interviews, archival footage, and documentary narration, this segment digs into the origins of some of my favorite horror and thriller films. I will be revealing the subject of the January origin story very soon on the Hallowed Groundling social media, so stay tuned for that. And speaking of social media, please remember to follow Hallowed Groundling on all social media, and please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps, and I appreciate it. If you do it, I'll buy you a puppy. Okay, maybe not a puppy, but I'll be very, very grateful. And with that business taken care of, let's get on with the show. There is a segment beyond that which is known to man. It is a segment as vast as these airwaves and as timeless as the internet. It is the middle ground between fandom and social media, and it lies between the pit of dissection and the summit of obsession. It is an area which we call the TZ segment on Hallowed Groundling. Hello and welcome to Hallowed Groundling. This is the monthly segment on the original Twilight Zone where I will be breaking down one episode at a time, and today is the second episode of the first season, One for the Angels. But first, I would like to introduce my special guest today, Kate Powers. Kate is an educator, a voracious reader, an amazing baker, and a massive fan of media, TV, and film. She's also brilliant and hilarious, and she is not only one of my favorite people on the planet, she's also my cousin. It is such a joy to have you on the Twilight Zone segment to talk about One for the Angels. Hi, Kate.
Hello, thank you for having me.
You're
Two of
very wel-
my favorite topics.
You're
Oh,
very welcome. I know, and we had you on. I had you on specifically today for a special reason, which we'll get into. Yeah. I have this one on. See, for the
oh, see,
video versions, we have our special T-shirts. Yeah, so we have a Jaws T-shirt on Kate and a
mm,
Twilight Zone T-shirt on me. So yeah, so Kate, when did
yeah.
you first watch the Twilight Zone?
Oh, okay. This is probably going to get me in a lot of trouble, but my first exposure to the Twilight Zone was actually through the Treehouse of Horror episodes that got my interest when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's good that Bart did that is one of the what that Titus and I will quote that all the time. But I started seeing the Twilight Zone episodes in Treehouse, and then I started watching it. My husband is not into horror or anything like that, but he loves the Twilight Zone. So we'll put it on. Well, on the fourth, we would throw it
Mm-hmm.
on New Year's Day. We
Mm-hmm.
would throw it on. But my first exposure was Treehouse of Horror.
That's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
so for those of you who don't know, Kate and I, we are big Simpsons fans as well. We're very good at Treehouse of Horror trivia. Really good. We've won quite a few times.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah,
should have won
should have won this past time, but
other
that
times,
we won't get into that,
but that's none of my business.
it's all a matter of numbers, it's all yeah, this is a private. So anyway, but that's totally understandable because I mean I absolutely love the Treehouse of Horror nods to the Twilight Zone. That's
Yeah.
like one of my favorite things. I think
Like It's a Good
actually
Life was probably the first one that
yes,
I
when Bart
saw.
yeah.
That's probably the one that comes to mind as one of the first ones. And of
Mhm.
course, How to Cook for Humans, How to Cook for 40 Humans,
There's
Taste
a
Us.
oh,
Yeah.
and then they did the whole night gallery wraparound in
Hmm.
one of the episodes too. So they've done a
Yeah.
lot of nods to Rod Serling. We should actually do an episode maybe around Halloween about
Oh,
all
that'd be great
the
of
nods to Twilight Zone
all the
on
Twilight
Treehouse.
Zone.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
definitely do that. Awesome. So what are some of your favorite elements of the show now that you have watched some of it? What are some things that you really love about Twilight Zone?
I think what I really love just the reversal of expectations that even when you think you know what's coming,
Mm,
you don't.
mm-hmm.
And um and the writing is so sharp and it's so funny. You watch an episode and you're like, who is that guy? Who's that guy? And then you look it up and you find out that he's this actor that's been in everything. And
Yeah.
but the writing is so sharp and every single episode is so unique.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you don't get a lot of repetition with the Twilight. So I don't find that you do. Um, but all I can think of is the Burgess Meredith One Time Enough at Last, where you think that the world ending is the problem,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not. It's the fact that his glasses break and now he can't read.
But I
Just
would argue one of the most unfair endings in the Twilight Zone.
unfair, super unfair. Yes,
Super unfair
super
ending.
unfair.
Mm,
But it just I love that last moment where you think you know where it's going.
mm.
Like, I mean, I don't. Are we gonna talk about Next Stop Willoughby? Like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of Titus's favorites.
Oh
That
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Um, and the Howling Man is probably that's the one where, as a grown adult, I made my husband wait at the top of the stairs so I could go get the laundry because I was afraid to go downstairs
It is
by
a creepy,
myself.
it's a creepy
Um,
episode. It
and
is
and
a,
that just goes
yeah.
to show too, like another thing about it is that for the time, the effects are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That I mean,
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
I remember he stood at the top of the stairs because I was afraid to go downstairs during the day
Mm-hmm.
to get my laundry because of that final image when he walks by the pillars.
Oh,
Ah,
I love the music when, and speaking of Howling Man, when the door opens, when he opens
ugh.
the door for him, and you hear that, ding, 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 it starts up, and I love that, and you just see his face
Mm.
darken, which is so cool. Like we don't. Yeah, you're right. The
Yeah,
effects
and
are
that's the
amazing.
the reversal of expectations there too, because you think, oh, he's going to free this poor person that's trapped, and like that's the victim here, and oh,
Mm, so good. It's so, so good. And then when that hand at the end goes and
oh.
lifts the bar, you're like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
And
Yeah, it's so
this
good.
is gonna sound a little pretentious, but I really love the ones that show the humans as the monsters. It's nothing supernatural, it's nothing
Hmm.
otherworldly, it's just human nature. Of course, the monsters are due on Maple Street is the biggest
Oh,
example of
yeah.
this, where it just shows how people become the worst versions of themselves
Yes.
in certain situations. And I think that those are just as powerful as anything else that could, like
Yeah.
anything supernatural.
Yeah. My friend Danny, who I've mentioned on here before too, she's in the middle of watching Twilight Zone, and she has said to me a number of times, she's like, she's never watched it before, so this is her first time going through all of them.
Hmm.
And well, seen random episodes, but now she's going
Yeah.
through season by season. And she said, I can't believe how many of these are so relevant to what's happening today. And I'm
I
like,
mean,
it's
the monsters
crazy.
that are due on Maple Street is so timeless, and
Absolutely.
it's horrifying in the worst way because it could happen anytime, and
Absolutely. It
because
still
I mean,
happens.
what does end up and to name another, people are like all over. Like
Hmm. Yep.
that's
There's a fourth season episode called He's Alive with Dennis Hopper that is he's like a, schmatzy kind of guy,
yeah,
and he's getting this advice from this clouded
pop quiz hot
figure.
shot.
Yeah. And it's so relevant. It's
Hmm.
scary how relevant it is to now, to some of the
Yep.
things that are said in it, where you're just like, oh my God, like we never change. We never ever
Yep.
change. Nuts.
You blew it up.
We blew it up. All right. Awesome. All right. So let's get a little bit into the show. I'd like to do highlights every
Sure.
episode. So this one, I'm going to highlight Buck Houghton, who was the producer on The Twilight Zone, and he was producer for the first three seasons. So he sort of set the tone for the show. He worked for RKO on Curse of the Cat People and Body Snatchers, to name a few. He was responsible on Twilight Zone for translating the page to the screen. He purchased scripts for the show outside of Rod's because those were part of the deal. He worked on scoring and cutting and casting. And Buck Houghton was also responsible for the show filming at MGM, which gave the show access to the massive backlot there. That was this dream for an anthology show
That's the
that,
other. The sets are unreal.
Right.
And even if you, I mean, for those of you that have gone on Tower of Terror, like you get to see, like
Yeah.
the sets are wild. The one with Elizabeth Montgomery
Two with
too.
Charles Bronson. Yeah.
That's like a whole city.
Hmm.
It,
Yeah. Well, that's what they had MGM backlot
yeah,
access because
this
that's
ain't
what they, yeah.
over.
You will hear a lot of Treehouse of Horror Simpsons
Hey
nods
Ma,
during this
how about a
episode.
cookie?
I'm I'm going to fix Emmett. Going to
No
Emmett.
dice.
I'm going to Emmett's Fix-It shop to fix
This
Emmett.
ain't over.
The-
Bronsonville, people, Bronsonville.
Bronzeville. They had access to the MGM lot, which gave them all the access to those sets because they needed them for an anthology
Mhm.
show. They had a different set every week, so
Yep.
they needed all
And
that.
that the one I forget the name of it. But when the guy goes back in time to when he was a kid and he
Walking distance.
yes, that I'm
Hmm.
like this there's a house, there's a park, there's a merry-go-round, like
Oh
this
yeah.
is an insane set.
They had MGM had everything. They had a lake. They had every single thing you could think of on the MGM backlot. So Buck
Mhm.
Houghton was responsible for getting them on that set, which I think gave such a wonderful, like access to the show and also like the fact that they could go as far as their imaginations wanted because they had all of these sets right at their fingertips,
Yep.
and all
And
of this these props and everything too.
the one where it's the astronaut and he's being held in like sensory deprivation, but he thinks he's
Oh, the first
yeah,
that's Where Is Everybody, which is the very first episode.
but
Yeah.
he's running around the city, goes to the movie
Hmm.
theater, like
That was
it's
actually filmed
crazy.
at Universal. That one was actually filmed at the Universal
Mm.
lot. It was like their pilot episode. So they had
Yeah.
filmed that one there because they had that there. But MGM
We
is
are dropping massive spoilers too. I hope this
oh,
isn't going to ruin anything.
oh, in the intro of this, I put because I do a
Okay.
separate intro. I there's spoil. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're watching it, I mean, or
Yeah.
listening to it, you understand there's going to be
Yeah.
spoilers.
Okay.
Come on.
I mean, it
But
is
yes,
a
no, I
very old
always.
show. If you're not, I think the time for spoilers is over.
Yeah, the statute of limitations is far, far overdue. So yeah, they did have this, this access to MGM, which really was the fantastic thing to have for this anthology show. And Buck Houghton also hired the director of photography, George Clemens. He was the DOP on High Noon, on The Great Dictator, on March's Jekyll and Hyde. Fantastic director of photography, and they were very lucky to have him. He was the DOP on 117 out of 156 Twilight Zone episodes. So he's responsible for the look
Yeesh.
of that show. So these two people really gave us the show that we now know and love. So love to do a little highlight on Buck Houghton. All right. Let's get into one for the angels. Let's get a little
Yay.
one for the angels facts here. So I like to read the opening, Rod's narration. So here is our opening. So opening street scene summer, the present. Man on a sidewalk named Lou Bookman, age 60-ish. Occupation, pitchman. Lou Bookman, a fixture of the summer, a rather minor component to a hot July, a nondescript, commonplace little man whose life is a treadmill built out of sidewalks. And in just a moment, Lou Bookman will have to concern himself with survival, because as of 3 o'clock this hot July afternoon, he'll be stalked by Mr. Death. Cut of Murray Hamilton's face, looking right at us into the camera. So here's some fun facts about One for the Angels. It premiered on October 9th, 1959. It was directed by Robert Parrish, who also
The
directed
basketball
not that one.
player?
I think he was a little old for that. Different Robert Parrish.
Yeah.
Also directed two other
Celtics
Twilight
were a
Zone.
great team.
The Celtics were a great team. You might hear Office references too
Yes.
in here too, just so you
Robert
know.
Parrish.
The doctor didn't know. He also directed season one episodes A Stop at Willoughby, which you just
Oh,
mentioned,
yes.
and The Mighty Casey, which is another one I really
Okay.
love too. It's a baseball episode. Wicked good.
Next up, Willoughby.
Next up, Willoughby. Lou Bookman, of course, is played by Ed Wynn. Ed Wynn was also Sam in the fifth season episode 90 Years Without Slumbering. I love to do the cross reference of
Hmm.
who did what in other episodes.
Yeah,
Mr. Death.
that
Yep.
would be a cool it's so Titus and I love Seinfeld, and one of our favorite Seinfeld accounts always does the like a timely like this like Home Alone was the most recent one. They're like everybody in Home Alone that was in Seinfeld, and they do like a side by side, and you get to
Yeah,
see. That would be
I
kind of
love
cool
that.
to do. Like Twilight Zone, how many episodes is this person in? Because all I could think of is Jack Lemmon was in two. No, Am
No,
I
Jack
thinking of
Lemmon
Burgess
was
Meredith?
never. No, oh, Burgess Meredith was
That's
in a bunch.
yeah.
Off the top of my head, Burgess Meredith was in four
But Jack Lemmon was
episodes.
in the one with the fortune teller, right? That was him. Was that
No,
him or was
Jack
that William
Lemmon was
Shatner?
never. William Shatner.
That was William Shatner.
Yeah, well, Jack Lemmon was never on Twilight Zone.
I'm
Jack
I'm thinking
Klugman. Jack Klugman? Are you thinking of Jack
no,
Klugman?
no, I think I was getting a grumpy old man with Burgess Meredith. Come on, I wanna lay
Come on, I want to lay
ya.
ya. I want to peek a pee. All right. Mr. Death is played by Murray Hamilton. He was his only Twilight Zone episode he did. Maggie, who is the little girl, is played by Dana Dillaway. She was also Karen in the third season episode, I Sing the Body Electric,
Oh,
which
I
I
love
love.
that
I do
one.
too. And the doctor is played by Jay Overholt, he was in seven other episodes of The Twilight Zone in various small roles and voice work. He was in Where Is Everybody? A Thing
Hmm.
About Machines, 22, Odyssey of Flight 33,
That
Static.
that
Oh,
one's
that one's so good. I love that one. Static, The Jungle, which is my husband's favorite episode of The Twilight Zone, and
aw.
Showdown with Rance McGrew. He was in all of those in like tiny, like he played Man Number One and like
Mm.
Cowboy and yeah.
Panicky Idiot number three.
He played hemorrhoid sufferer number one. I could be the guy that gets cured.
I played Panicky
Ah.
Idiot number three in the Poseidon Adventure.
Oh God. All right. So yeah, pretty cool. All right.
Yeah,
So
seven. I just he might have the record.
it was a lot. He's definitely the
Uh,
most I've ever found. I was like, I saw him like, oh
yeah.
my God, he was in so many episodes. All right. So here's our spoiler alert where we're talking about the
No.
breakdown of the episode. All right. Number one, we see Lou Bookman being followed by Mr. Death to his apartment. He has a sweet interaction with the children in the neighborhood. Edwin is, of course, a Disney staple. He
Uncle Albert.
Appeared in Mary
Yeah.
Poppins as Uncle Albert, Absent-Minded Professor, That Darn Cat, and is, of course, the voice of the Mad Hatter in the animated Alice in Wonderland. What do you think of Edwin as
Uh,
Lou Bookman, Kate? Tell me all
he's
about Edwin.
so if you are feeling blue or down, I just recommend watching the I Love to Laugh segment in Mary Poppins because you can't not laugh. Like I can't not laugh at other people laughing, and I certainly can't not laugh at Edwin. And then when Dick Van Dyke starts
Oh.
laughing, it's perfect. But he's an incredibly lovable man. And I think that makes him perfect for this role because
Mhm.
he's not only lovable, he's very charming. And I
Hmm.
could see why kids gravitate to him because he's fun.
Yes,
He's
he is.
fun.
He is fun. I mean,
Uh,
like, so Rod Serling wanted to work specifically with Edwin. I mean, because
mhm,
who doesn't? And he had actually wrote this episode, and it had been produced before, One for the Angels, but it wasn't quite the same. It was a little bit different than the way it's formatted for the show, but it was the same basic premise of someone who gets approached by Mr. Death and
mhm.
then makes a deal to get out of what they need to get, they need to do. So he had wrote it, but he wanted to do it with Ed Wynn, and Robert Parrish thought that Ed Wynn was not the good choice to play a fast talking pitchman, because of his
I can
cadence
see that.
and his
I can see
lisp.
that. He's not
Right.
he's wonderful and he's kind and he's lovable, but he's not
Smooth.
like
He's not.
he's not like a Michael Scott where Michael Scott's a buffoon, but
Hmm.
Michael Scott is an incredible salesperson
Hmm. Yeah.
when he wants to be. But I can see why Robert Parrish would say that.
Yeah, he was a little nervous about it, but and apparently when Edwin read the script, he said, "I can't say all those words," And they were like,
I once knew a man
that
with
was
a
my
one
best
leg
Edwin
named Smith.
impression. Yeah, he
What
was
was
like,
the
"I
name of
can't."
his other leg?
He was like, "I can't say all these words," and they were like, and so they said, "Just do your best," and apparently his own person, like Edwin's personality, assuaged any like fears that Robert Parrish had about the episode because his charming nature came through,
Yes.
and that's what does shine through in this episode is that charming personality and sweetness that
Hmm.
we don't really care that he's not a fast talking
Right.
salesman real I don't anyway. I've never been like, oh God, I don't believe this at all. It's like,
Well,
you know
if he were a slick talking salesperson, I don't think you'd really care
mm-hmm.
that I don't think you'd care for the character as much
Yeah.
as you do. And he always comes across in this episode to me as somebody who's old school. Like this is an old school salesperson. He's not here to
Mm-hmm.
be super slick and confident and smooth. He's a like it's just that old guard. I always
Yeah.
kind of got that vibe that
Yeah.
he's that kind of sales pitch is dying out,
Mm-hmm.
and he's kind of like
I
the
agree.
last DJ, as it were.
Yeah, I agree. And there's something, as we've said, that's why he was a Disney staple. There's just something so charming about Edwin with children.
Yeah.
Like he's so sweet with children. Like you just, and you can see that, but that the kids really like him and that he really likes the children. And so it sort of really reads well. You believe he has that brief scene with the kids that's so sweet, but like
Yeah.
you believe in his relationship with Maggie, that he's so
Hmm.
concerned for Maggie that he's like, I've got to save her no matter what. So it's like, even in that brief interlude in the good writing and in their wonderful acting in that scene, you believe that relationship immediately, you know.
Hmm.
And I think that's got a lot to do with Ed. I think you're right. Like the old guard and the sweetness wouldn't. I don't think it would have translated as well if we had somebody that was slick and fast talking. And yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. All right,
I don't think it
awesome.
would have been as touching.
Yeah, yeah. Robert Parrish said that Edwin was on set constantly. Like he never had to call for him. He never went in a trailer and went away or anything. He just sat on set and he was always accessible, always nice. And so any fears he had were completely assuaged once he got to work with him a little bit. Cool.
I
All
can see
right.
that.
Yeah. So next up, so Lou Bookman is then confronted by Mr. Death in his apartment. And he tells him that he must come with him. So let's chat about Murray Hamilton as Mr. Death. And so this is the reason that I wanted you to come on me with me on this episode because Murray Hamilton also played Mr. Robinson in The Graduate.
Which is wild. Like
I know. I know. Every time I think I
that's
go, I always forget
I
to credit.
forgot when I was looking at I was reading up the article, and I was like, that's right.
Yes, it's
Like,
crazy. He's like he had a beautiful career. He really
hmm.
did. Just such interesting different roles. He was Big Daddy Hollingsworth on an episode of The Golden
He
Girls,
was a big
Blanche's dad.
country
One,
singer.
yeah, David Wayne actually, who's also in a Twilight Zone episode coming up and was the Mad Hatter on the Batman 66. He played Big Daddy Hollingsworth in another
Oh, okay.
episode too. So there's like really cool actors played Big Daddy. I love that. But he was, I think he was the first one to
He was the
play.
first Big Daddy, yeah.
Yeah, when he sold his when he sold the house and he became
Yeah.
a country singer, which is so sweet, you know. So he was in that. He was Father Ryan in Amityville Horror, and of course,
Get out.
of course, he was Mayor Vaughn in Jaws 1 and
And two.
Jaws 2. So you are a massive Jaws fan. For those of you who don't know
Right.
Kate, she is a massive Jaws, probably I think the biggest fan I've ever met of Jaws. And
Yep.
no. So what are your feelings about Murray Hamilton in this episode? Like, how do you feel about him as Mr. Death in this episode?
I love it
Mhm.
because I think he was a tremendously good looking actor, especially when he was younger.
I do have a question for you
Um,
coming up about
oh, but
that.
he's not the hottest Mr. Death. I'm sorry, he's
Wait,
not.
don't answer that yet. I'm
That's
going to ask you.
okay, okay. But
We'll get into
I
that.
think we all know.
Yeah,
Um,
it's the
you
undersurface
can't.
question.
An unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
Hmm.
Um, I think that he is incredibly charming. I love that raspy voice he has.
Hmm.
But even in Jaws, when you're like the big joke is that like this is how important local elections are. The same mayor in Jaws 1 is also the mayor in Jaws 2. But if you watch those movies, you see why people would vote for him and why they would like him. He is incredibly charming.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to him as Mr. Death, he's all business,
Mm.
but in a almost this is how it has to be
Yeah.
way. I think he's sensitive and he understands that it's not easy to be told that you're going to die,
Hmm.
but he's also like I have a list of things I need to do and you're one of them,
Yeah.
so I'm coming back for you later.
Yeah. It's a list. He's a list
And
checker. Yeah.
he is, but I think he has that same Ed Wynn situation where it's a great balance of somebody who is efficient and here to do a job, but there's something human about
Hmm.
him too. Like, and he's nobody sounds like that.
Yeah.
nobody looks like that. He's incredibly unique,
Hmm.
I think, in those respects. And I think he was a fantastic choice
Yeah.
to be Mr. Death. But I saw him in Jaws first.
Hmm.
And then I saw One for the Angels. And I had to do like, I did like a triple take because I was like, is that the mayor from Jaws? And he's the Grim Reaper too, which is kind of funny because he insists on keeping the beaches open. So he's kind of like the Grim Reaper in Jaws too.
That's true.
um,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think him and Edwin together are just incredibly charming
yeah.
and very sweet. I love
Well,
those
and it's
scenes.
the scene where he's doing the pitch.
Mm.
Murray Hamilton just looks so intrigued but overwhelmed at the same time when he's like
Yeah.
holding all the stuff that he's like buying and
I love his arc
yeah,
in that scene. That's we'll get
yeah,
into that a little bit more too. Is
yeah,
I love his arc in that scene so much, like where he goes from like looking at him like, "Pff, what are you doing setting up right
yeah,
now? Like no one's around. Like what are you doing?"
yeah,
And then it goes from him like looking going, "Oh yeah, sure," to, "Oh my God, I need
yeah.
every." I love that. I love that little that transition during that scene. It's so great. All right, so speaking of him as Mayor Vaughn, and as a massive Jaws fan, I have to ask you. Do you think that Mayor Vaughn did what he thought was best in Jaws? Do you think that he knew it wasn't a good idea, or do you think he was operating from a place of thinking he was making the best choice possible?
So, the character of Larry Vaughn is multi-layered because there's the book character who was
Hmm.
absolutely not doing what was best because he was doing what was best for him because he owed the mafia a lot of money and they were all tied up in real estate and he knew if he closed the beaches he was never going to be able to pay the mafia back and he was probably going to be killed. So he
Hmm.
he was not acting from a selfless place in the book.
Hmm.
In the movie, I you're meant to think that he's this cold-hearted, money-hungry politician who wants to keep the beaches open for the economy. And he is, but he's also somebody that has never been in a situation like this. Like, this is a
Hmm.
very, very unique situation where an animal that is usually in warmer waters and certainly not in New England or setting up shop in New England is here. I think it's a very strange concept.
Hmm.
Because if we go all the way back, oh, now you've done it. If we go all the way back to the Jersey attacks in 1916, the view that most people had of sharks is that they were very stupid, that they wouldn't attack people, and they were very dumb animals. And they're not. They're incredibly intelligent. But I wouldn't expect a mayor in the 70s to know what sharks are all about. So he
Hmm.
thinks, oh, this thing came. Okay, well, it's one shark. I can't shut down the economy of this entire island, put people out of work. You know, they even say,
Yeah.
like, Quint even says, like, be on welfare all winter. Like,
Hmm.
it's a huge decision. And I know this is not like apples and oranges, but it reminds me a lot of COVID, where it was like, we got to shut stuff down. Well, we can't shut everything down because the
Yeah.
economy still needs to happen. And who wants to make that call? Like, it's, I don't think he was purely selfish, but I think he was also operating from a place where he doesn't really know what's going on. And it's this unseen, unknown threat. He
Hmm.
can't shut down an entire island
Yeah.
because then all these people whose hotels and restaurants and stores are going under they're not going to understand why.
Right.
And he has to kind of walk that fine line. And I think that they kind of stick it to him in Jaws 2. If
Hmm.
you've seen Jaws 2, you know what I'm
Hmm.
referring to, where
Yeah.
it's they want to punish him, I think, and because he's viewed as the, you're the mayor of Shark City.
Hmm.
But if you watch the scene in the hospital where Brody gets him to sign the
Hmm.
the invoice to get Quint to kill the shark,
Yeah.
the Daily Jaws, who's wonderful, I believe he's a British man, but he says he's knocked for six in the hospital, which means that he's kind of like shell shocked that, and
Yeah.
and he's standing there and he's practicing what he's going to say to the
Yeah.
press. He goes, I was working in the best interest of the.
Yeah.
So I don't. So to answer your question, I don't know. It's like a
Hmm.
Muppet.
Yeah.
It's not quite a Muppet. It's not quite a puppet. But man, I don't
To answer
think
your
he.
question, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't think
Yeah.
he was doing this and being okay with the fact that some people were going to die.
Right.
I think he was doing this because he didn't really know what else to do. Like even the scene where they're on the Chappie Ferry and he's like, "We
Mm-hmm.
don't, there's nothing like that in these waters." And you yell barracuda, people
Yeah.
say, "Huh, what?" But you yell shark, like it's all over. So I don't think he was as malicious
Mm-hmm.
as people think he was.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. You brought up the hospital scene. The hospital scene to me is Mayor Vaughn's most telling human moment of why he made the
My
choice he
kids
made.
were in that water too.
That's it. When
Like,
he looks at him and he says, "My kids were there too." Like meaning like
yeah.
I didn't do this on purpose. Like why would I do? That says every and the way he delivers it is so beautiful. The
Hmm.
way he says that to Brody, he makes it very clear like I did not know this was going to happen. Like I
Yeah.
didn't make this choice knowing that people were going to die or I didn't do that. And it's a very human moment for him, like where
And
you see him as less of a
you never want to
political.
be the one that has to make that call
Right.
because it's
Right.
just him
Yeah.
that has like
Yeah.
that's if they close the beaches and nothing happens,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's his head in the smasher. He's the
Yeah.
one
That's the part
that
of being a political figure is that you have to make choices sometimes that are not popular and then for the best interest, as you said, COVID was a perfect example of that. And I think he did make the best choice he thought for the town. And like you said, it was an unknown threat. And they were like, well, it was this random thing that happened. It doesn't mean it's going to happen again. And when it does happen, he understands the gravity of the choice that he made.
hmm
And that one line always gets me is when he says, "My kids were on that beach too," because that just Murray, oh Murray, you're
yeah.
wonderful.
I don't think he deserves the villain rap
I don't
that
think
he
so
got.
either.
I think
No.
that he just didn't know, and
Yeah.
I would never want to be the one that has to make that kind of call, whether it be
Mm.
for a virus, whether it be for a shark. It's because if you do it wrong,
Yeah. Well,
and if you
you and I are both empaths, and I think if we had to make decisions for people's well-being, we would beat ourselves up
hmm
ever of every choice we ever made that,
yep.
yeah, I could. That's why, it's hard. It's really difficult. All right. That was a very deep question, but next I have
Yeah.
a very surface question for you, which we sort
Mm.
of touched on before. So there have been three representations of Mr. Death on the Twilight Zone. This is the first. Robert Redford was in Nothing in the Dark. And Leonard Strong was in the Hitchhiker episode, which is an incredibly creepy, wonderful episode that
hmm
I love as well. Who is the most handsome Mr. Death out of those three?
It's Robert Redford. Come
Robert
on,
Redford.
like he's
Rest in peace, Robert Red. Oh,
when Endora
oh,
opens the door
mm,
and that's the Grim Reaper, Robert
mm.
Redford.
Oh, it's Gladys Cooper,
Oh,
not
Gladys Cooper,
Agnes Moorehead.
and
Yeah,
she's the Christmas one, right?
the
Is she the
Chris.
Christmas one?
She is in. She's been in a few. She was in. She's been in three. Gladys Cooper was in three. She was in that one. She was in.
I'm not an expert,
And no,
audience.
it's okay. It's okay. No, Agnes Moorehead was in the Alien in the
Yeah, but that's
Invaders.
so it. The
Little People.
little
Yeah,
people. Yeah.
that's her.
Um.
Gladys was in. She was in Night Call, which was the one with the telephone pole
Oh,
ringing in the middle of the night.
I hate that one.
That's Gladys Cooper. Yeah,
I hate
Gladys
that
Cooper is
one.
incredible. I love her so much, and I
Um.
love her in that
I hate
episode.
love that one.
Yeah, so it's so
I don't.
good.
It's just so bad.
Yeah, and she was also in Passage on the
Um.
Lady Anne, another one. So she's been in three. But yeah, no,
Um.
yeah, when she opens the door, I know, and it's
I mean,
he's
you
laying
don't
there.
know. Well, to be fair, I think with Robert Redford, you don't find out that he's death until
The end.
the end.
Hmm.
But I'm sorry if you look up a young Robert Redford,
Mm.
like he's not even real.
He's
Like
not.
he's just
He doesn't
he's
exist in
like
nature.
ridiculously good looking. It's ridiculous.
It's like the way we were, like when you see
Uh,
when Barbara Streisand ruffles his hair, and I'm like,
ah,
I'd grab him and throw him in the backseat of the car. I
it's
wouldn't.
like literally death is here. Okay.
Oh well, okay.
Okay. Gonna make out with death for a few minutes. Like, ah. Like, oh, he's just but I think that puts um Murray Hamilton at an advantage
Mm,
because he's coming in and he's the Grim Reaper. That's it.
yeah.
That's his role.
Hmm.
But Robert Redford is, I forget what the cop name is that
He's a
he
cop.
has.
Yeah.
But I don't like he's the injured cop that like
Yeah.
comes to the door. And for
Hmm.
most of the episode, he's the injured cop.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, it's revealed that he's Death.
Yeah. Yeah. He
So he
snuck
gets
in the
that
door.
opportunity to like play those two things. But Murray
Yeah.
Hamilton has the advantage of I'm coming in and this is what I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. I agree. All right. So moving on, Lou persuades Mr. Death not to take him until he does a really big pitch. Lou believes that he has played a good trick on Mr. Death, but then he informs him that he must take someone else in Lou's place. The little girl Maggie is hit by a car, and Death says that he will take her at midnight. So this
This is
episode
also a really good Treehouse of Horror where Homer is the Grim Reaper.
there is. Oh, it's so good. This episode deals with themes of morality and self-sacrifice. Do you think that Mr. Death knew what would happen beforehand and had it all planned out? Or do you think he did it off the cuff once Lou tricked him?
I think
Is
that
Death omnipotent, I guess is the question.
so maybe I
Hmm.
think Death knew that he was leaving with one soul that night,
Hmm.
and it was supposed to be Lou, but I think Death is very flexible.
Hmm.
That, well, if it's not you, it's going to be somebody else.
Right.
And you know what? Since you tricked me,
Yeah.
I'm going to make this one hurt.
Yeah.
And I can see that happening, but I can also see Death.
So it's a last minute
It's,
pivot. You think it's a pivot?
maybe I literally just
Mhm.
came up with that this very
Yeah,
second.
no, it's
That
it's cool. It's a cool question, right? It's like
that I think that he's like, well, you tricked me, and I don't
mhm.
like that. So guess what? I am going to take somebody else, and it's going to be a kid,
And not this hobo over
and not
here.
this homeless bozo, as Jack Donaghy would say.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that it
My
was
shark
a
blanket too.
oh, very nice. Very nice. It was I think that it was a last I think you're right. I think it's a lesson.
Yeah.
It's like okay, you're gonna trick me because he really he says, I don't think I think you've tricked
Well,
me. I
it's
think
kind of
you
like
know.
monkey's paw. God,
Yes.
I can't stop with the treehouse. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. I mean,
But it's
Monkey's Paw
that
is one of
whole
my
like
favorites.
you're gonna get your wish, but
Hmm.
it's gonna come with
A cost.
strings.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost you more this
Hmm.
way.
Yeah, definitely. All right, cool. So, this is just so Lou makes a pitch to distract Mr. Death from his midnight appointment to
Hmm.
take Maggie. What distracts you from your
Oh my
obligations?
God, shiny things, anything. So what distracts me from my obligations?
Yeah.
Podcasts. I'm a
Yeah.
big podcast person.
Hmm.
Anytime my husband does anything,
Yeah.
I,
Yes.
you know how it is.
Oh God. Yeah.
Um,
We both
yeah,
have really incredible husbands that
yeah,
are just very distracting, both of them.
yes. Anytime my husband does anything. But I'm also a big, I don't know if this is a part of anxiety. I hate having things hanging over my head.
Yeah.
So if it's something I have to do, I'll almost always just get it done. So that way it's not hanging over my head.
Hmm.
But I get distracted, probably by podcasts, Instagram, books,
Hmm.
shiny things, pop culture references.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah.
Anything.
Everybody should know that Kate and I text each other about 100 times a
Yep.
day with stupid things and send each other
Mm.
memes and send each other, yeah,
What the
that's what
hell's going on?
what the hell's going on? Yeah, that's our newest one is the guy that does the so
So imagine.
imagine. We like him a lot and he did one on the Grinch that was just wonderful. So,
Uh,
yeah. If you have I have to check his name out. I'll put it in the show notes.
yeah.
Speaking of that, I'll also put the article that you sent me about Vaughn from
Oh,
the
yeah.
Jaws blog.
So the Daily
Yeah.
Jaws is a great social media account. I believe he is in England.
Hmm.
But he put out a really good an article, actually like during the height of COVID called The Vaughn Identity. And it's
Hmm.
about Mayor Vaughn.
Yeah, it's
And
excellent. I read it
it was,
yesterday. Yeah. Yeah, and I'll put that link in the show notes so that people can check it out. Yeah, it's a really good one. All right, so once the appointment is missed, Lou willingly goes with Mr. Death.
I do love that Death is very scheduled.
I
Like,
know, which I
and if
respond to.
I know, like, I love that he's like, well, we missed the appointment. So
Fine.
fine,
Yeah, fine. Done, I
fine.
guess. Eventually.
Mm.
Yeah. I like so the when I asked you about what distracts you from your obligations, I'm the same way. Like you and I are very similar in that way. Like we both have anxiety, so we sort of like get the thing. If something needs to be done, we do it.
Get it done. And then you
Yeah.
can,
If things are more flexible, like cleaning the house or doing stuff like
Yeah.
around the house, you were like, I can do this instead,
Yeah.
and I don't feel as I still feel guilt because I'll always feel guilt because we have crushing Irish guilt
Mhm.
forever and ever. But I'm the same way, like podcasts, social media,
Yeah.
books, movies, all of it does
Like,
that. It will distract me from
yep.
and try to be scheduled, but it's not 100 happen. All right, so once the appointment is missed, Lou willingly goes with Mr. Death and they walk off together down the street. What do you think happens when we die? This is all about deep philosophical
Whoa.
questions here.
Okay.
What do you think? What do you think happens? Do you think
Um,
it's like that?
so what happens after we die? What do I hope happens? Weirdly enough, if anybody listening is roughly my age, which is, I was very into Are You Afraid of the Dark, which is sort of
Mm.
like Twilight Zone Junior.
That's one of Laura Minadio's
Yeah.
favorite shows, our girl Laura
Um,
Minadio. She
so
loves
that
that.
was growing up. I was a big Snick
Hmm.
person. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Which, by the way, it was on Amazon. I don't know if that's true still. Um,
Yes. I think it's on
but
Tubi. It might be
it's
on
on,
Tubi right
yeah.
now. Yeah.
So there was an episode called The Tale of Station 1091,
Hmm.
which starred a young Ryan Gosling as the older brother. But it's about this boy who's obsessed with death, and he ends up in a hearse somehow, and he hears this radio station called 109.1,
Mm.
and he finds out that it's death, and he figures out where it is using a very 90s computer, which so that will make you laugh if you check that out. The DJ is Gilbert Gottfried, and
Oh.
yeah, so he finds the radio station, and there is a point to this, I promise. Because he was in the hearse, his identity gets mixed up with an older man who died, and he gets to the radio station, and Gilbert Gottfried's like, "Okay, you're this guy.
Yeah.
You got to go to the afterlife." And he's
Oh.
like, "No, I'm not him. I'm this guy." So Ryan Gosling's the older brother. Ryan Gosling finds the elderly gentleman who should be dead,
Mm.
and mishaps, whatever.
Yeah.
They get to the end, identity's resolved, and the older gentleman is going to the afterlife. And Gilbert Gottfried says, I'm not going to get it exactly right, but he says, if you lived a good life, it's the best thing going. And I'm hoping that if you're a good person and you have a
Mm.
good life, you'll have a good afterlife.
Hmm.
And so it's the tale of Station 1091.
Mm.
That always stuck with me as a kid when
Yeah.
they do watch somebody, I think earlier in the episode, go to the afterlife and it's not good. And then when this gentleman goes, Gilbert Gottfried says, if you led a good life, it's the best thing going.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like that.
And
I like that
yeah,
philosophy. I think that's a
so
good, yeah, I think that's a great philosophy
so
to have
whatever
about
Are You Afraid of the Dark is on, please.
it. Definitely check that out.
Twilight Zone Junior.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. That was like Laura loved like that and Goosebumps and stuff. She's like a
Hmm.
massive fan. She knows everything about Snick. Like yeah,
Yes.
she's a Snick genius. Yeah, and that's one of her favorites. We'll have to have her on sometime to talk about
Yeah.
that.
So
Definitely.
that I always
I like that.
remembered that when he
Yeah.
says that.
Yeah, I'd just be happy if it's peaceful. That's all.
Hmm.
Like if it's peaceful, that would make me like I don't know, if it's just peace, and
Yep.
there's no
Just
chaos at the end. I agree. I think if you're a good person, you deserve that peace after whatever that peace looks like, you know,
yeah.
whether yeah, like you said, if you lived a good life, it should be yeah, good. Awesome. All right. Okay. So, this is the final narration. Louis J. Bookman, age 60-ish, occupation pitchman, formerly a fixture of the summer, formerly a rather minor component to a hot July, but throughout his life, a man beloved by the children, and therefore a most important man. Couldn't happen, you say? Probably not. In most places, but it did happen in the Twilight Zone. So, my final question for you, because I love to think about these things. This is just being a theater person. You think about all the underlying pre-stasis, post-stasis things. Um, what do you think Maggie felt like when she woke up and Lou was gone? That was something I wanted to think
Um,
of. Like she lived through this thing happening to her, and then this person that she really cared about was taken away. And I often I thought of Maggie, and I like to think of what happens to people before and after where we see them in a story. So what do you think? How do you think Maggie reacted?
Um, well, from her perspective, she had a traumatic accident
Mm.
and she woke up and Lou was gone. She didn't know what I was gonna say she didn't know what he did for her, but he essentially put her in that position anyway.
He did. I
So,
mean, she doesn't know that.
she doesn't know, but she'll never
Yeah.
know, and she'll never know.
Yeah. I do love that she doesn't see him in the apartment when she comes up, and then she does see him when she's laying
Mhm.
in the street. She says, "Who's
Yeah,
that man?" That's the
yeah.
best. I love that.
Who's that attractive man?
Who's that man who looks like he should be mayor?
Somebody get him an anchor jacket. Um, Maggie, I mean, I think a lot of when in situations like this, when I'm seeing shows and movies that represent this,
Mm,
that I think it's probably easier for her to just realize that he's gone
mm-hmm,
rather than seeing him
mm,
get killed or waste away. Like, is
right.
that, I mean, we don't see the moment where he
Mm-hmm.
dies, we just see him walking off.
Yeah.
So it's very peaceful. It seems like a very peaceful transition.
Mm-hmm.
And Maggie, I mean, she's probably saying ow because she
Hit
did
by a
get hit
car.
by a
Yeah.
car, so
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
probably in a lot of pain.
Right.
But I think that when she remembers him,
Mm-hmm.
it's all with love and
Yeah.
kindness. And I
Yeah.
think that that's the best thing,
Right. Yeah.
it's that this was a person who was kind to me.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're a kid, you remember that stuff.
Yeah.
And it
You remember
doesn't,
both. You remember who was nice to you and who was mean to you.
you remember, yeah, you remember who
Yeah.
was good to you. And I think that's worth its weight in gold. I mean,
Right. I often thought too, like when I think about it, I'm like, was Lou's body just laying on the sidewalk, the steps? Like, like
yeah, like
where was
wait,
his physical body? Like, was it
yeah.
still there? I mean, these
It's
are just
very
those silly,
poetic to have him walk out with death, but it's like,
not
well,
just be a corpse on
yeah,
the stairs.
right. That might,
That's how
okay, so
Maggie found,
that might
that's how
change
Maggie
things.
finds him.
That might change things. I don't know.
Maggie's like, I feel so much better. Lou!
Surrounded by all the stuff. Mm.
He
Oh
knocked
yeah,
his
I don't
suitcase
know.
over.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I
I
just like
never
to think
thought
about
about
those.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
because
to
she'll
think.
never know
Right, right. I mean, like,
that he gave the best
yeah,
wish of his life for
yeah.
her.
I just love to think of those things that we don't see that are
Hmm.
part of like the physical part of that world that they've created. You're like,
Hmm.
well, what happened then?
Well, and trying to
So,
go back to what you were asking before about the pitch itself,
yeah.
like did Death know that he was being rope-a-doped?
Hmm.
Maybe, maybe not, but I think that there's something really powerful when you're watching somebody, as the kids say, cook.
Hmm.
So when it's somebody that's doing something that they're really good at,
Yeah.
it's very mesmerizing. So I think
Hmm.
Death was kind of very happy to watch this because it's somebody that's doing what they do best.
Yeah.
And if you gotta go,
That's the way to
make
do
it
it.
doing something that, that makes you happy and that you're good at.
Hmm.
And
I agree. All right, awesome. Well, this has been a great wrap up of One for the Angels. I love this
this is
episode.
episode
Two.
two. This is two. Oh, I thought it was
Two.
like three or four.
No, this is
Wow.
episode two. This one is, yeah, this week, this one was the one that came right after the pilot. It was like the second episode
Jeez.
they had filmed. So, yeah, we're doing one at a time every month. I'm going to be doing one
Hmm.
at a time, and I'm so happy to, it's going to go on for a while.
Yeah.
But it's good. This episode I think was a great, the first season is full of these incredible episodes, these like
Hmm.
very, because a lot of them are written by Rod. Like Rod had
Yeah.
them all, lined up to go. So, and then we start to see, Richard Matheson and Charles
Hmm.
Beaumont and all these incredible writers that are going to come into the fold as well. But they started out very strong, with these first episodes that Rod had written because this was his wheelhouse. These morality tales were, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Kate, it has been awesome. to have you
Well,
on
thank
here.
you for having me.
You're
Everybody's
very
homework is to watch Treehouse of Horror.
Yes.
Um,
I think we need to
yeah,
do that. I think maybe at Halloween, maybe I'll have you on again to talk
yeah,
about all the treehouse
all the
references
different
of
ones.
Twilight Zone. That would be a lot of fun as
Yeah.
a side quest on this. That would be a lot of fun because
And
there
the
are so
Howling
many.
Man. Oh
Oh, can have you back for the Howling
my
Man, but
God,
I mean, but
Titus is like,
Titus
she'll
will have
never
to
do laundry again.
Titus will have to hold your hand through the
I
whole
know.
thing.
Ah,
Oh,
so good.
well,
Yeah.
Happy New Year, everyone. This is coming out on New Year's Eve, so look out for it. And
Oh,
thanks again, Kate.
thank you.
I'll talk to you in 5 minutes,
Okay.
okay?
Okay, I'll talk to you in 5 minutes.
Thank you, everybody. Happy New
Bye.
Year.
Happy New Year. Be safe out there.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Hallowed Groundling. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and rate wherever you listen to your podcasts. And don't forget to follow Hallowed Groundling on all social media. Links are in the show notes. Until next time, stay spooky.